Okay, greetings everyone, and welcome to what the fuck are we?
Evening edition of
Welcome to Progressive Discussions.
The Dark Truth.
Welcome to Progressive Discussions After Dark. The Dark Truth, because if you think we're uncensored in other
media,
other shows and other things that we do on the internet, you ain't seen nothing. This is dark, man. I'm here with my buddy. His name is Billy Bones, and Billy Bones is kind of pissed off, just like we are at the same things. Billy Bones is he's from the island of Bali, and there's probably a spirit inside of this thing, because I have no idea who made it or what spell was cast, but Billy Bones is pretty pissed. Okay, welcome. I'm your host, James P. Madonna of Megalife21 hard-hitting podcast, and this is Progressive Discussions After Dark. And I'm here with my very special guest for the very first time.
I'm a virgin. Be easy.
The one and only, and he is involved with some of my social media pages. The one and only from Chicago, Illinois, Mick Von Raven. Mick, glad to have you.
Hell yeah, Jimmy. Good to be with you.
Thank you.
Been a long time coming, brother.
What the hell? I'm trying to drink this Yinling Porter with the cap still on it. But when I said this show was after dark, I wasn't kidding.
Well, I'm going to crack open my 8.5 Brewski percentage beer, and cheers, mate.
I got the Yinling Porter.
Dirty Bastard Scotch Ale.
Well, I have some Treasure Island spiced rum in the freezer, but I don't want to. I don't feel like this is the evening to be doing that. Anyway, I got the America's oldest brewery, Yinling, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Yinling Porter. I usually drink the lager. I like Lord Chesterfield Ale, and I like their India Pale Ale. And so tell me about the beer you're drinking, sir.
Founders Brewery, I don't know much about them, but I went to Michigan with one of my exes, and her brother, a Sousehead, turned me on to it. 8.5%. So when you're drinking one, you're actually drinking two beers. It's economical.
Is it a
Scotch ale? It's darker.
It's a dark ale, you say?
Scotch type ale. So it's strong. Put some hair on your chest and remove some hair off your balls.
Well, I like this. Speaking of our talking about beer, I mean, I'm not an expert.
Expert enough for me.
I'm not an expert in craft beer. I'm not as astute on the subject as my friend Mr. Dave Coulter. I just would like to say hi to the true beer expert, Dave Coulter, from Ohio, actually closer to the Cleveland area.
And we're not going to hold that against you, Dave.
Greetings to Dave Coulter, and to from Louisiana, another beer expert, Mr. J. Theriot. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. Theriot?
Me.
I don't know. I know I'm going to get heat for it, but
hey, it's better than none at all, no matter what you're saying.
Yeah, well, he's a very nice Cajun gentleman from down there, and he knows a lot about beer. But Dave Coulter is a lot easier of a name for me to remember. And I have done shows with Dave Coulter, but This is not a beer show. This show is for my Facebook page. See, Billy Bones is very excited. Look how he's bobbing around. Look at this. It is for my Facebook page, the International Brotherhood of Krampus and Festivus. Or was it Festivus and Krampus? Whatever.
I'm not sure.
I am very proud of my new album called For the Love of Gargoyles. You could check it out. Of course, it is loaded with gargoyles, some of my favorite entities in the universe. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about social media assholes and people in general, how they are today. And I would like to start off by saying, you know, everybody when they log in, when they go online on social media, everybody's a fucking guru, a know-it-all, and an expert.
And a critic.
And a critic, yes. And they often don't look at the content. Excuse me. They often don't look at the content. They often don't look at the content of things that they read and watch. Some of them nitpick, and they're like babies. But what they do is they have a lot to say on someone's profile or on someone's private thread, as they like to call it. But they'll never go public with it. Like, in other words, I have 5 groups on Facebook. One is larger than the other. And I have considerably more members on these groups than people have friends on their friends list. So what these jabronis do is they put a wealth of information on their own on their own profile with their limited supply of friends, but they won't put the same information on a group that has thousands of members, or they wouldn't put their damn mug on video for the world to see, like I do every week, and like we're doing right now. You know,
or even their photographs. Some of them use phony photographs the whole time.
Yeah, some people don't even use the real photos. I mean, do they look like Quasimodo? I mean, you know, are they that ugly that they can't have one photo of themselves? I don't know, man. I mean, I know we all can't. They all can't be like us.
Beauty queens we are.
Honestly, I would impose, if I was Donald Trump, I would impose an ugly tax on any person who doesn't do anything to improve their ugliness. And if you reproduce ugly children, ugly offspring, I will tax them even more for bringing more ugly people into this world. In Italian, we call them faccia brutta, which means ugly face.
Good to know.
Yeah, they're not easy on the eyes. Believe me, it's like this. What do you call online dating site called Zeus? I've never seen so many ugly
dogs,
older broads in my life. You know how you could tell a woman's hiding how she really looks is when her profile photo is either far away, or blurry, all right, or
scanned copy from high school.
She's got big sunglasses on every photo, or you could tell she's obese because her photo is only from the chin up. So, you know, that was a good telltale signs. But and you read the profile, and it's worse than any job interview. They're so nitpicky. They want the world. They want everything, and then meanwhile they don't bring anything to the table. Mick Von Raven.
Well, let me tell you, Zusk, they took me once. That's all it took, man. They're a racket. I believe this at any of these personal websites. They have somebody working there that will contact you, making you want to join and see who it was, and then it's not nobody. It's happening to man, Zeus, all over the place.
Yeah. What's her name? Has sent you a message. Please.
And then you go on, this profile's been deleted, and they just fucking contacted you.
Please, please, if you want to find out what she said,
Please
subscribe, and you'll find out everything there is to say. Hey, and then you subscribe. You know what they have? They have these automatic pre-made messages, like a generic message.
Works, by the way. I turned mine off because it makes you seem like they're interested in you, and they're not. That's what it is to lure you in.
No, not only that, they're pre-made, they're automated replies. That's what I was trying to remember.
Tell me more about yourself. Please contact me at this email.
Yeah, hold on. Let me do Billy Bones. Hey you. Hey you. Hey you. I'm talking to you, honey. Hey Toots. Hey Toots. I'm contacting you. But if you want to find out what Billy Bones really thinks of you, subscribe. Please subscribe, and because Billy Bones has got a nice bone for you, baby.
Got a bone to pick with you.
I got a bone to stick with you. But yeah. So anyway, getting back to the assholes of social media, they got the keyboard courage, of course, and they won't go public with their views. They keep it private because they were scared. They were scared that I don't know what they're afraid of.
Their friends will unfriend them when they find out how they really feel.
You know, one of my buddies, he was telling me that because of the insanity of the 2016 election year, all of his so-called friends, he does military reenactments. They dress up in uniforms, and he says that a lot of his buddies, because his politics were different than theirs, they unfriended him. You believe that, Mick Von Raven?
I've got people of all walks of life, and I just fucking let them be themselves, and I'll do the same. And if I don't agree, I don't unfriend them. I
never tried to.
You like that fucker? Go ahead and like him. I'm not going to stop you.
I never tried to convert anybody. I never imposed my views on anyone because my views are 99.9999% right. But you know,
that 0.001% that'll kill you.
But yeah, so these people have a lot to say, but they keep it private. And speaking of the dirty double standards between men and women, how come, and this is women of all ages, even the young millennials who's supposed to be all modern and everything, they believe in equality when it comes to making a buck, when it comes to their career, equal job, equal pay. I agree, that's only fair. But why is it socially, when it comes to the date, why do they expect the man to do every fucking thing? Got to pay for everything, got to make the first move, pick them up, you know what I mean? Risk rejection, go broke. You know, when they're out with their girlfriends, they'll order a beer or a cheap cocktail. When they're with you, all of a sudden they want an apple martini. When they're with the guy, when somebody's paying. Apple martini in my area is pretty damn expensive. I don't know about Chicago.
World, brother.
Huh?
Expensive all over the world, brother. That stuff's it's a scam.
I can make martinis home for like a fraction of what they charge in a bar. I know how to make them. Shaken, not stirred, of course. But
I can tell you this, James, these women, they want equality, and I'm all for that. But then the last several I've dated are looking for a man to take care of them. I don't understand.
And what if they have baggage? What if they have...
They don't bring a lot to the table. A lot of them just want, you have a house? Okay, I'll move in. You have a job? Okay, I'll have a job making a fraction of what you're making. We'll live off of you.
In other words, what you're saying, it's not equality. It's not fair equality across the board.
It's situational equality, okay?
Yeah. They're opportunity. It's like being an opportunistic, parasitic human. You know, you got your antennas up, and when opportunity comes by, if the person is a sucker and stupid and naive, they're going to be a victim.
Well, I tell you, unfortunately, the last few women I've dated took me for a ride, 6, 7 dates before they, oh, well, you know what? I'm really just want to be friends after they got a few dinners, a few dozen drinks.
Really? Friends?
Hours. Hey, friend, do a reach around. Come on, friend.
Hey, friend, I got a bill to send you. Hey, my friends don't stick me with the bill. They pay. They pay their own way.
And they don't string you along and say, by the way, I can't be friends with you anymore.
Yeah, what is this play? Look, I'm not interested in platonic relationships, especially if they're very attractive.
Yeah, a man and a woman can't really be just friends unless they're, already with somebody else.
Right. Well, a lot of hot women have gay male friends because they can girl talk with them. But the point is, there is no incentive to have an attractive female as just a platonic friend, especially if you have to pick up the tab. If you have to pick up the tab, then there's no equality. There's no women's liberation or whatever the hell you want to call it, feminism. It's a joke because they want their cake and eat it. And you know why I think they want their cake and eat it, Mr. Mick Von Raven? Because I think it's because they know that our sex drive is stronger than theirs because we have more testosterone than they do. And they know that all these desperate, thirsty, begging brothers are always chasing them and hitting on them left and right. And it's an ego thing, and they have this ego to use against us because of these dudes that just can't control themselves and they can't boycott anything.
Well, I tell you, the other problem is the women, they don't have the testosterone. They have to have the babies, so they're not as quick to want to jump in the sack. They're the ones that have to have the pain of childbirth, not us. So
because they're the ones that get pollinated.
Exactly, and they fucking
fertilized.
Yeah, so they're like, we're stay-offish on things like that. Oh, I don't think we should. It's our 7th date. Maybe we could. It's fucking ridiculous.
So in other words, because the schlong, the salsichi, the chorizo, the kielbasa enters them, and leaves a little cannoli cream.
Yeah. We inject a little bit of love into the situation.
So they have some more to lose. Well, the man's got a lot to lose if she nails him for the child support. That's for damn sure.
Exactly. Well, my favorite is ones that say, ones that have had children and they're worried about penetration. Didn't a couple of kids pop out of there, honey?
Penetration. Yeah, Dr. Ruth Westheimer used to
say. It could hurt. The penetration could hurt. Penetration. How'd the 2 kids come out? They weren't fucking cesareans. The fuck?
Sicilians? No, I'm Sicilian. I'm not. Oh, cesarean, you said. Now, tell me something. How come when a woman gets knocked up, how come she doesn't ask the man if he wants to be a parent? Like, in other words, they all have a tendency to have the baby. They don't abort it. So they conveniently have the baby, and then, they get to leave their job, maternity leave, they stay at home, and then they try to go after the dude for the child support, a gravy train.
Well, some of them, it's that those situations exist. Sort of the other ones are where the guys are bums. It's a give and take. I think it's 50-50, and they're both dirty dogs.
In other words, a lot of guys don't care about contraception.
Run the fuck away. They don't live up to their obligation as well. They turn tail and fucking say fuck off.
You know what's fascinating the shit out of me right now? I'm not controlling this. It's automatic. I don't know if there's a spirit inside of Billy Bones here, but when I talk, the video automatically goes to me enlarged. As soon as you talk, it goes to you. The whole screen is you talking, and then when I talk, it goes back to me all by itself.
How amazing!
I tell you, I gotta salute Google, YouTube organization. If they don't have a system that does this, and it's Billy Bones' spirit, then I'm gonna have to do an exorcism on Billy Bones. But you know, there's a possibility that this is great. You gotta look, like George Costanza said on Seinfeld. You gotta love science. You can't stop science. No way, no how.
Oh, they're trying to, brother. They're trying to.
Oh yeah, yeah. The right wing
Deny science, deny the facts, deny it all. Hey, but I want to get back to we were going to stay on social media for a few minutes. So
yeah, let's do that. You take over. Social media.
Social media it's a double-edged sword. You meet a lot of great people, like you and I became friends through social media, but there's a lot of shenanigans where I don't know if you're popular or people like your posts. I don't know if people are reporting you or if, you know, I'm going to be specific here. My favorite Facebook, somebody's like assigned to your account and just fucking punishes you every 30th post or some such shit. It's ridiculous, man. I've been in Facebook prison like 25 times and I haven't even killed anyone yet.
Listen, I have been in Facebook prison. Well, it looks by looking at me right now, but I have been in Facebook prison many times.
Over nothing.
Often over nothing. Even if I post food that looks like a vagina, I go to Facebook prison. It's food, for God's sakes.
The only way you can get out of it is if you're sharing someone else's post. If you bring a post to Facebook that someone deems inappropriate, I had a post of it was highly suggestive of a girl and a guy driving, and the girl was probably going down on him. It looked like it was very suggestive. Didn't show anything, but I got suspended for that. And I see full-frontal nudity on Facebook all the time. I don't report it. I don't care. It's freedom of expression, in my opinion.
There are on like websites like Tumblr and maybe Instagram. I'm not sure.
No, Instagram won't show nothing, unfortunately.
Oh, Tumblr. Then it's Tumblr.
Nature on its freaking glory hole.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I'm very anti-censorship. I believe if you don't like something, change the station or quit the group, resign. You know, I don't believe in censorship because censorship can go on, and then everybody will be censored. You know, it's unfair.
Roll down if you don't like it. Don't report it. There's no need to report it.
See, listen, I have specific agendas when I go online, when I go on social media. I don't always crack jokes like I'm doing now with you, but a lot of my agendas are very serious, as you well know, because you're a member of all my groups and pages. But I do not like to walk on eggshells worrying about offending somebody. I'm not online to make your, not you per se, but you know, the world, to make your online experience more pleasant. You know what I mean? I believe
Tumblr for that porn if you want all that pleasantry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a truth seeker like you. I believe in seeking the real hard-hitting truth. And that's why I'm an independent. I'm not affiliated really with any political party. I am a democratic socialist. I think the rich should pay the original 90% tax rate they did during Eisenhower when we had prosperity. And I think that we should get a lot of free stuff like Northern Europe and all the Bernie Sanders stuff, you know, healthcare, education, it should be right. And right
system.
Yeah, no price gouging, you know, everything should have a fair price.
Aspirin shouldn't be $10,000, one aspirin.
Yeah, well, look at the military for a fucking screw. They got to pay up the wazoo for a screw just for the, you know, to be used in the military. I mean, hospitals, what is it, $1 for a stick of aspirin? I can get a whole big bottle at the dollar store of aspirins.
The worst is these drugs that everyone uses every day and they get sold and all of a sudden they're quadrupled just for pure profit.
Well, price gouging. Now, if you take the same drug and
go to Canada
and you price it in other countries, you will see that it is a fraction of what the price is in the United States. So it's obvious that they're price gouging we the people. It's obvious. And the people are stupid and naive. Listen, I was smart enough to know that all my history books were full of shit.
They don't tell you the true history of this country. Never have, never will.
You know what I learned about American history? That stupid story with the picture of George Washington chopping down the cherry tree.
Crock of shit.
Let me tell you something. They didn't mention anything about the genocide of Native Americans. They didn't mention anything about the torturing and killings with the slave trade. They didn't mention a lot of things. And my heart goes out, of course, to the Native Americans, indigenous people from all over. It's not just United States. The elitists.
And slavery worldwide still existing today, man.
The European way of thinking, the European monarch, imperialist way of thinking, they pretty much abused and stole the land and everything from all parts of the world. And I think it was most likely Great Britain that was the biggest culprit. England, and then they lost their empire because well,
Church of England, those fuckers.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Evangelicals don't really follow the Bible, just like a lot of the Catholic Church has their own rules too. The Mormons have their own rules. Then once you have your own rules and you don't follow what's in the Bible, then what you have is a cult. And then there are churches. Here's another subject: the TV evangelists, the mega churches.
Oh my God, Joel Osteen, the billionaire.
Yeah, they stick their nose in politics, but they don't pay any taxes.
Yeah, it's a shambles, man. You and I are paying their taxes, dude. I paid almost 10 grand in taxes last year.
Listen,
a fraction back. I
haven't heard since I was a kid all these evangelists leading up to Joel Osteen. You take your Jimmy Swaggart, your Oral Roberts, you take them all. I haven't heard any of them,
Pat Roberts,
talk about donating money to feed the poor children, the homeless, and you always see the commercials, feed the children, feed the children. Well, why doesn't, since the Catholic Church is worth many, many billions, why don't they feed the children?
We're paying for all the pedophiles, okay?
Well, the point is, charities have become a scam, Mick. I mean,
stuff. Yeah, all those. Yeah, even what are those resale shops? Some of them are in shams, man. Just taking the money, not giving anything to the poor. Goodwill. Goodwill.
They sell the stuff you donate,
and they take the money. Goodwill is a bad one.
Goodwill, March of Dimes, American Red Cross, they all have CEOs making a fortune. Yeah. Why does a charity, a fundraiser, need to have a CEO making that kind of money? Why do you need a CEO anyway for a charity?
I believe that one of the only ones that still gives to the poor is Salvation Army.
Well, they will sell what you give them. If you give them clothes and shoes and jackets and coats, I mean, they will turn around and sell it. But the point is that when I find out that only like a dime or a quarter of right on every dollar you're donating is going to the worthy cause, I'm like, why am I giving to this charity? Is a scam. I rather help people that I know that are down and out directly, which I have done. I rather help people directly, you know what I mean, knowing that 100% of what I give is going to help the other person, all right, than to donate to a United Way, let's say.
They're just a big pyramid scheme, dude.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like the
down to the 1% of the top echelon of that corporation, quote unquote.
Well, the corporate, the word corporate is, my opinion, is the tool of Satan in the end times, without a doubt. I mean, they're the ones that send out the lobbyists. They're the ones that they pay off the politicians.
Why is Congress and Senate lifers? Why aren't they 4-year terms?
Good question. Why don't we have term limits?
Because it's not what they would. That's not what they want. The lobbyists and the corporations don't want that.
Well, why isn't every election based on the popular vote? Why do we need an electoral college or super delegates?
It's insane. They should have gotten rid of that years ago.
Yeah, the thing is, ever since the Industrial Revolution, when you had demonic scumbags like J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Carnegie, who had child labor back then, okay, pre-union days, ever since the Industrial Revolution, when Americans left their family-owned farms where they produced their own living and their own food to go live in the city and work for the man for their survival. Once that happened, the system is rigged for the rich only since the Industrial Revolution.
Same thing happened in this town. Pullman, Hormel was here, Swift. Yeah, they did the same thing. A lot of child labor, a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
They used to loan employees money, and then they were almost indentured servants.
You know who was a hell of a nice guy relatively is Henry Ford.
Wait a minute. You know he was a racist son of a bitch cocksucker, don't you?
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he might have been nice in some areas, but he was a prick in others, just to let you know. He was nice enough to let his brother or cousin handle Kingsford Charcoal, but I hate to tell you, a lot of our heroes had a dark side.
Well, it's like when they came down on Paula Deen. You got to understand.
He's a scumbag, just to let you know.
Well, I never cared for her show because I don't. I'm a very fastidious, clean person, and I don't want anybody prepare my food that's sticking their fingers in my food and sucking on her fat friggin' thing. She's got rings on, and she's double dipping with the ladle. I hate the double dipping bitch. And she's sucking on her fingers But aside from that, these people grew up in different generations. So their language and their views are different than ours. But it doesn't trivialize the racism. Of course not. Hey, Ty Cobb, the baseball player of Detroit Tigers, he was a bastard and a racist, I heard.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to go back to, just if I could, indigenous people celebrating Columbus Day is a slap in the face to all indigenous in this country.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that.
Chopped off their hands, sick dogs to attack them. He was not a good guy. We revere him. He was a scumbag. Columbus
was a typical European piece of shit. Columbus, when he was in the Caribbean, you know what he said to his cohorts, his colleagues? He says, "Gee, these well, he didn't say gee, but he said these native people here in the Caribbean, they're so friendly and generous. I think they will make excellent servants." That's what he said. I'm serious. Of course, the guy that is on the Travel Channel, is looking for the grave, the bones of Columbus, and he's like, the Travel Channel is just like honoring him. I don't know why they don't just come clean and tell the truth.
No, well, it's another, it's like a Santa Claus for people. Some of these historical figures have been propped up, and they're actually real pieces of shit.
How could you discover a continent that has had civilizations for many thousands of years, and then while Europeans were living in caves, and then all of a sudden, European happens to sail over here and says, "Oh, I discovered the new world."
You gotta wonder what would happen if the Vikings stayed instead of just discovering it and leaving like they did.
You know what happened on Valentine's Day besides Valentine's Day? Captain Cook.
Yeah.
Captain Cook got massacred by Native Hawaiians. And that was the best drawing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, I was saying I was rooting for the Hawaiians, you know. That bastard, he brought smallpox and God knows what else to the.
I thought you might have been referring to the St. Valentine's Day massacre here.
Yeah, Al Capone.
Yeah, Capone that died of syphilis. Not a very dignified death.
Al Capone says, "Do not mistaken my kindness for weakness."
You know,
he coined that phrase.
Yeah, speaking of servants, you heard about Frank Lloyd Wright. His servant went mad and killed half his family. Created all these great homes here in this area. Yeah, it was some guy from Haiti that went just berserk.
Now the Wrigley chewing gum. He's the one that built Wrigley Field, right?
Yeah, he had to sell the Cubs. That's when the Cubs really were. Let's just say that was the worst thing that happened to the Cubs when they were sold the first time by Wrigley.
Well,
Company were suckers.
You had Ernie Banks, and then later on Sammy Sosa. You know, as their stars, and there was no night baseball in Wrigley.
A long time, man, a real long time.
No night baseball.
So they threatened to kick him out of the league.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, they should all have the designated hitter. Why the hell should a pitcher, the poor guy, he's killing himself throwing, you know, using the same arm, throwing. You know, one pitch after the next and wearing out his joints and everything. Why should he have to go to bat?
The funny thing is some of them hit home runs. That's why they like to do it in the National League.
But look, you take an older slugger and you make him a DH. Now the older slugger
can stay around.
Stay around longer.
Exactly.
Like for instance, if the National League would come to their senses and would have had the DH, Sammy Sosa could have been DH for the Cubs for years to come.
Well, I think a cork bat might have had the difference in that one. He had a cork bat, so he was.
Oh, really? He had a cork, and he also was on the juice like Jose Canseco.
He had a lot of things against him from staying with the Cubs.
Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco.
Roger Clemens,
originally with the Red Sox pitcher, right?
Yes, I'd say the whole league was on it in some format.
Alex Rodriguez was dabbling. You know, they're cheaters. They're all cheaters. Hey.
Bud Selig let it go on until they made all their money. Then they start cracking down. Now, not to be an anti-Semite, if you noticed, every head of most sports is always a Jewish fellow.
Well, they're in charge of Hollywood and entertainment.
Well, hockey, basketball, baseball, football, not so much. But it's like, you know, a lot of people using a lot of people to make a lot of fucking money.
Well, look at these stupid talent shows. You know, these kids are so starry-eyed and excited. Ooh, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Hollywood. Yeah, read the fine print of your contract, punk, and you'll see that you don't have control of your career at all. I know somebody that was a star in the WWE, and that WWE contract, you don't have a say in anything. And that's the problem with entertainment today is you don't, it's not like the old days. You have no say whatsoever.
The artists don't control their path.
Right, exactly. Now, speaking of sports, you know the Chicago Blackhawks, that was an actual indigenous Native Americans that lived in that area. They, I saw the documentary one time.
Blackhawk, right?
The who?
There was a Chief Blackhawk. I know that much. Yeah.
It represented the Native people that were in that area. Near, you know, the great the Lake Michigan area where Chicago.
That's a fine tribute to indigenous people, whereas many other teams are not. Redskins, Indians. I don't think those are very flattering names.
I think that Native Americans should be on money. I think Chief Sitting Bull should be on one of the bills. Geronimo should be on one of the bills. They should bring back the Buffalo nickel.
Those are awesome. I have some myself.
Yeah, and put the Indian head. Get George. Look, George Washington's on the dollar. What more does he want? Why does he have to be on the quarter? God's sakes! Put an Indian head on the quarter. Put a buffalo on one side and the Indian head on the other. Pay homage to the people who really own this country.
They make some interesting choices when they put women on these currencies. They're not all that well known, some of them.
They're ugly as hell.
Well, yeah, of course. But you know, when you're going to replace an icon, shouldn't you go with something a little more well known, more famous, perhaps? And maybe
would it be funny if Donald Trump put his wife on one of the currencies?
Which one? The current?
All of them.
I still think it's hilarious that three out of his wives, 2 were immigrants, and he's all against the immigrants.
They're most of them are immigrants.
Yeah, this country was founded on immigrants. I mean, it's just insane. And if you get rid of all the immigrant labor, no one would be able to get their lawn cut, or, you know, they're just doing jobs no one else wants to fucking do.
But you know what? I hear the crops were rotting away on farms like in Alabama because after the
raid,
the migrant workers, you know, the Mexicans that were working on farms and they were illegal. Once they caught wind that Donald Trump started to deport a lot of them, they took off. They left the farm, took off, and the crops were rotting. They rotted. They did.
White men do not want to pick crops. White men do not want to cut lawns. The white male doesn't want to do it. We've set society up this way, and now we're gonna complain about them.
Except I got to do the Donald Trump with the fingers. Except the Amish, they didn't have any slaves.
Good for them.
The Amish, which happened to inhabit eastern central Pennsylvania and Ohio, did their own work. They worked their own farms. They didn't have slaves. They weren't lazy.
Damn it.
They weren't lazy crackers like Mitch McConnell.
I don't have any Amish coming to cut my lawn, okay? Just not doing it.
There are certain jobs that Americans won't do. The Americans will say, "I'm not doing
manufacturing." Americans don't want that neither. Send that overseas and then complain about it.
They'll say, "I'm not doing that hump job. What are you, out of your mind?"
They want to get paid a small fortune to do it. That's another problem.
I don't blame them. I want to be compensated for my here. Let me use the hand of Billy Bones. I want to be compensated for my services, or else I'm not doing it. You hear, you punk? Here's the CEO right here, uppercut.
Well, sometimes they have a good grievance. Other times, you know, you got the Teamsters, for instance. You know, the old joke. You see that snail, Jimmy? What the fuck's wrong with it? Well, that snail's been following me all fucking day.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't mind paying. I was in the union. The
unions are the same, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, when I used to work with seafood for 10 years. I was in the butchers union, meat cutters union, which is part of the Teamsters. I don't mind paying dues if I have a living. I'm getting a living wage, great benefits. And if management or the company is fucking with me, the union's going to go to bat for me. Then I don't mind paying the dues. Now, if I'm paying dues and in return I'm getting due, that's not good.
That's the problem. Yeah, not all unions are created the same. I've never been part of a union. Sometimes I wish I was. A lot of unfair. The problem in our work environment, not everyone's treated the same.
Well, you have favorite. See, I hate office politics.
Oh, I've been in it my whole life, brother, and they favorite little Susie who does jack squat. You bust your buns, and you're just, you know, it's a management technique. You work real hard, and they tell you you're not up, you're down, man. Don't you know you're down?
Well, they have favorites. They have their favorites, and I refuse to polish any apples, to be a sycophant, an ass kisser. you know, and I don't play the game.
Well, they also have management by fear, which is not going to get you a lot of people. You know, they say nowadays people quit bosses, not jobs.
Hey, I don't know anybody that, unless a really bona fide ass kisser that really liked or loved their supervisor. I mean, I used to fantasize about strangling almost every supervisor I ever had.
Well, I tell you, I'm at a new job and knock on simulated pressed wood. So far, I like the guy, but you know, there's still time to fuck that up.
Yeah, but they're nice to you. They're your buddy when you produce. You know what I mean? Like if you're a salesperson, and I've seen it happen with people. You know, one of my exes was a fine jewelry department manager for Lord and Taylor, and she says when you produce, they're your buddy. But wait until sales goes below their so-called quota, and you find out that they're not buddying up to you anymore.
It's a Jekyll and Hyde act.
Yeah, they're cocksuckers.
Yeah, and motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're when it comes to capitalism, the only people it works for are greedy, stingy, rich people.
Yeah, the top 1%.
Yeah, the top 1%. May a meteor shower and a super volcano take them out simultaneously.
Yeah, unceremoniously.
Yes, and you can throw an F5 tornado in there for a little seasoning. A little seasoning. Well, you have tornado warnings in Illinois, right?
Yeah, but none have touched down near me. I'm not that close to a mobile home park. That's a joke if you don't know it. They usually hit mobile home parks.
Mobile home in Florida, there were notorious, all those prefabricated.
Connected to them. They're just like, because there's not much vegetation around them, and they're easy to touch down and whip a few of them around.
You see, a mobile home, a prefab community is just a fancy way of saying extra jumbo trailers.
And you don't own the land. I live by making you pay me to live off of me. It's really
yeah. You buy the trailer or the mobile home.
Own the fucking land.
You're renting the property.
It's a sham, dude.
Yeah, it's another pyramid scheme.
In my town, which is one of the oldest towns in the area, I live in Des Plaines near O'Hare. There's 2 fucking mobile homes parks. It's amazing. It's a quandary of fucking events that I wouldn't want to be part of.
You know what happened right before the old Hurricane Andrew hit Florida? They said that these prefab homes are tied down by thick steel cable. They are up to code. They are up to code.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, they always say everything's up to code, and then like look at the old space shuttle that was up to code and it fucking blew up.
Well, guess what? Hurricane Andrew didn't know they were up to code and just demolished them and, you know, sent them off to the land of Oz or something. You know, by the way, what happened with the Sears Tower? It's called the Willis Building now?
Called Money, Money, Money. Yeah, they sold
Who's Willis? Is that Willis from the Jeffersons?
Yeah, no, it's actually Willis from, wasn't it Different Strokes? What you talking about, Willis?
Oh, he bought it? His family bought it?
I don't believe so. Some English,
or is it Willis? Willis.
Some English fuckers bought it, and it's a shame. It's a shame. And Hancock Tower, I think that's still privately owned. My brother actually worked in an office in the Sears Tower, one of my 2 older brothers. And I went down there. It was pretty cool. It was still called Sears Tower at the time, so the mystique was still there.
The company that buys it should call themselves call it the Phallus Tower.
Yes.
The Phallus Tower.
And yes,
well, all these skyscrapers are all obelisks. They're all modern day monuments to the sun god Baal, the Sumerian sun god Baal. You know, the Washington Monument. The list goes on and on. And they're building a new one in New York on Central Park called the Nordstrom Tower, and it's supposed to surpass the World Trade Center and the Willis.
What about the one in Malaysia?
that was surpassed. Actually, believe it or not, those son of a guns over in Shanghai, China, have a pretty tall building that beat Malaysia. You're talking about those what the hell is that city called? Yeah, Malaysia. They got surpassed a while ago. Dubai, I believe, has the world's tallest building in Dubai. United Arab Emirates. Shanghai has a pretty tall one now.
Pardon me for yawning. I was out last night with my nephew at an amazing concert I'll talk about in a few minutes when we're able to.
Well, I felt sleepy too, but the show must go on, and that's how I am. You know what? So we talked about the dirty double standards between men and women. We went over a lot of stuff with, another thing about social media and Facebook. That hawk nose, that big nose Mark Zuckerberg, he must have
Fuckerberg, as I call him.
Zucker Geek Fuckerberg. He must have low budget programmers taking care of Facebook, because there are so many glitches, and it's like I was telling somebody back in the day when we only had MySpace. Remember that Tom guy from MySpace?
That phony face they put up.
Yeah, he was very annoying. It was always the same photo, him with a white T-shirt, and with all his money, he couldn't put a better shirt on or something. But anyway, he at least with MySpace, you can custom design your profile. You can put a background on it of your choice. You can put animations on it, but you can't do with Google, with YouTube, with Twitter, with Facebook. You have to follow their plain, dull, boring template. You cannot custom design your channel the way you want it.
Because they can't keep an eye on you that way. You're too unique for them. I did find a new site called FU I'm Posting It. It's like a early version of Facebook. It's cool, but it's challenged, from a budget standpoint. But it's still kind of fun. Check it out. And FU I'm Posting It.
Fuck you, I'm posting it.
Yes.
I'm posting it anyway.
They even had a little bit of a censorship thing going on. I think they had to, because we were just posting it, like they said. FU I'm Posting It. But last night, my nephew and I, my nephew's 28 and I'm like 50, we went to see a guy that's 74 years old named Arthur Brown, who had a one-hit wonder called Fire. It's called The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. I won tickets at this club called Reggie's. It's on the south side of Chicago near Chinatown. And I always have to say, that's right, that's right. That's a Thin Lizzy song, Chinatown. And so we made it there, and we got there late, but I have a nose for the front. So, of course, we were in the front row. And there was some interesting opening bands. There was this band called Citizen, what was it called again? Electric Citizen. And they had a blonde in there, a female. And I took a few photos and sent it to people, and my boss thought it was KK Downing because she had spandex on. And Arthur Brown, 74, and that son of a bitch was dancing around. And just, he was amazing. He was doing costume changes left and right, and I only got 5 hours of sleep. But yeah, here I am.
I knew an old guy. We used to call him, what the hell we used to call Old Man Disco Johnny. He used to stay out. He used to go to clubs almost every night, stay out till closing time, then get up at the wee hours of the morning, just for the sake of that's when he woke up. I don't know how this guy did it. I could never do it. He looked like if you would took Tales from the Crypt and put him in fancy clothes.
Oh shit!
That's how old he was. And I don't know how this guy did it. It really amazes me. I don't even know if he's still alive. I mean, so Chinatown is next to the bad neighborhood.
Yes, it's near the Robert Taylor homes, and yes, it's also near a police station. So it's an interesting quandary there. I know a friend of a friend said one of his buddies got not robbed at knife point during the day, but sometimes people make themselves an easy mark, and it sounds like this guy was a chump. I've never been bothered. I'm going down there many times, many times.
Yeah, well, you don't want to walk around with like, checkered or plaid shorts, white shoes, and
And a white belt.
yeah, big, yeah, like a big. I was gonna say, because I got a friend of mine I found in the dollar store that had the leopard print cowboy hat with a big feather. It looked like a
Holy Pimp Festival.
I think it looked pretty cool, but anyway, I couldn't resist getting it for
Halloween item, I'm sorry to say. I wouldn't see that as a daily use.
yeah, just picture it, a leopard cowboy hat with a big feather.
I already feel sick. Thank you. Picture it.
And you take a white guy like that and he's doing the strut, Ric Flair strut through the
Oh man. Insane.
he's going woo, and he's got Rolex watch and he's going like this. I don't know. It would be a target, I guess.
Yeah, to say the least.
Well, first they give him dirty looks and then laugh their head off, and then he'll be a target. They say, "What the fuck is this?" But anyway,
touch on the new deportation laws. It's just the Steve Bannon's having a pretty good time in Washington, eh?
I hope Rosie O'Donnell plays Steve Bannon on Saturday Night Live. That's all.
God, yeah, somebody should.
Well, for the heat, for the heat on Twitter, just for the sake of heat on Twitter.
Well, yeah, always make fun of your leaders. You have to keep it real.
Yeah, but they had very old heat between the two.
Oh,
Donald Trump.
Well, she's leaving the country any minute now, right?
She's been leaving the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
threats. I'm going to leave the country. I'm not really.
Rush Limbaugh was supposed to move to Costa Rica if Obamacare became a reality.
I hate to say it. He should be beheaded, okay? And release all of his evil.
He has a lot of skeletons in his closet.
Well, he's a drug addict scumbag, yeah.
Plus, when he goes to Latin America, he has young boys brought to his hotel room.
You good gravy, how insane.
He's one of them dog pedophiles.
Condemn it all and then just to do it themselves, right?
Yeah, he's it's funny. People, they go ballistic over a program that would help poor people, low-income people get health care. Meanwhile, they have money to burn, and they probably pay for their own health, the best health insurance there is. But heaven forbid, it's like they're already not paying their fair share in taxes. Why are they bitching about poor people getting good things?
Like a Newt Gingrich?
Right.
There was that guy here, Hashter, man. Talk about king scumbags, the one that paid off all those young boys that he had molested.
Yeah.
He was from this area, I hate to tell you. Now he wants his money back. Did you hear that one? All his bribe money, he'd like it back now.
You know what the Gingrich that stole Christmas, the Newt Gingrich, you know what he wanted to do, seriously? He wanted all single mothers that were on welfare and food stamps, he wanted their children to work as custodians in school.
Oh, what a bright future.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, why do you think all these they think I'm stupid. Why do you think all these video games are all about the military and violence and using weaponry and all that?
Sensitize the children so they can join the services and go overseas and kill any Muslim they could find, whether they're peaceful or not.
Or let's go a step beyond that. What about drone operators?
Oh, yeah, the video. Exactly. The perfect video operators. Exactly.
You know how far artificial intelligence and robotics has come, and the people don't realize it. They have a robot, they have artificial intelligence. Forget about, like, what was it, IBM's Watson on the Jeopardy show. They have one playing chess. Oh,
excuse me.
The revolution in artificial intelligence is a computer that can play poker. And they said there's something about making decisions in the game of poker that is different than the one that plays chess. I don't understand what they meant by that, but they better be careful, because you know you take the movement of robotics has become very human-like.
Yes.
And you put that kind of advanced artificial intelligence in a robot that can move that quick and be that agile, and you're going to have a bunch of them getting together, having a meeting, saying, you know what, these humans are obsolete.
You're going to have a 2001, except it won't be out in space, man. It'll be right here at home.
These humans, they're nothing but trouble. They've always been nothing but trouble. They're obsolete. They're a cancer on the planet Earth. Let's get rid of them.
Well, I tell you, if you look at mankind, every problem we have is of our own creation. Every single problem. You're running out of time, we made up time. You know, you're not making enough money, we made up money. You know, every single thing, and the same thing with the environment. Oh, there's hurricanes. Oh, well, all this ozone depletion, that doesn't have anything to do with it. All the pollution, oh, that won't have any effect on it. You know, what did my mother like to say? That living denial is a place a lot of people like to live.
Well, the right-wing individuals, the corporatists, feel that, and it's really stupid, they feel that the oceans are so vast, the atmosphere is so vast that no matter what you no matter what you dump into it, it will dilute it so much that it would never cause harm. Hey, you can have a big car sponge that you see in the auto department, and you keep on using that car sponge, and it's going to fill up, you know, with debris and everything. It's going to fill up. But getting back to the robotics, I know why they're pouring so much money into robotics and artificial intelligence, because they want to replace the American worker, the human American worker.
Yeah, we're going to be obsolete, so they don't have to pay our benefits.
That's how greedy the rich are. It's like, when does a wealthy person have enough money? When does it become when does contentment set in, where, okay, I'm a multi-billionaire, I think I'm doing pretty good, I'm living high on a hog, you know, it's like I don't really need anyone. But they don't think that way.
The problem is not many of the rich want fellow man to prosper. Most of them just want to prosper themselves. I can tell you, advancements in any business reduce wages. I've been a victim of it myself.
Yeah, well, my friend, after 14 years of dedicated service, he was laid off before.
Yeah, I was at the company 9 years in 2011. I was there 9 fucking years, and they laid me off. Too many mergers, and then my salary started to free fall. I'm trying to build it back up. It's been 5 years later, and it's still not anywhere close to it, really.
You see, the haves have theirs, and they don't care what you have. They don't care what the have-nots have. I had some issues with Bank of America, and I've seen it in Walmart. I predicted it was going to happen. Bank of America, they installed this new program in the ATM machines where the ATM can do many of the tasks that a teller would normally do. I said, mark my word, you're going to see tellers laid off. Sure enough, they went one step beyond that. Not only is there only one teller scheduled in a day at Bank of America in my town, but the whole company has no more drive-throughs. They stopped all the drive-throughs. They laid off all those tellers. No more drive-throughs nationwide. And I knew this was going to happen. I had a feeling. And the same thing at Walmart. As soon as they brought in the self-scanning registers, you know, granted, you have to have one person there to keep an eye on everybody. As soon as they brought the self-scanning checkout, I saw one cashier in the whole front end of Walmart.
The trend is frightening. Let me tell you, it's frightening.
So I says, what's going to happen when the elderly come and try to scan their items, and or people that might not be computer savvy, or you know, let's just take older folks. They really don't want to be dealing with this scan and pressing certain buttons and putting your money in the slot and all this shit. They don't want to deal with that. And it's bad enough they pay those people shit anyway.
It's an ugly situation. Very.
You know, but oh, about your rock concert thing, you basically said what you're going to say, or you're going to tell me more.
Just it was a good time, and I won the tickets. That was very enjoyable, and I love turning my nephew on to music, and the guy was amazing for 74, dancing, singing very well, changing tons of costume changes.
Wow.
It was a blast, man. It's good to get out. They say studies show, and these are studies I believe in, people that see live music generally are happier in life. And I want to be happier. That's why I got a new job. Happier, to be happier.
Well, you know what? If you're miserable in your job, you're going to come home and you're going to have a terrible headache, and you might even have pains in your stomach like I did. You know, if you really hate it that much, I mean, number one, your health is the most important thing in your life. You know, and that comes first. You know, and I mean, money's nice, but what are you going to do? You're going to drop dead and somebody else is going to enjoy it?
It's a vicious circle, man. Let me tell you.
But I mean, as far like getting back to people and social media, I had an issue. You probably are wondering why I post like so many of these banners on my profile. When it's someone's birthday on Facebook, I usually take the time to make a happy birthday banner, and I post it. Now, lately, certain people, they just took it off. They didn't even say thank you. But others post happy birthday images on their profile that are not nearly as good as the banner that I posted. So, hey, they could post images, but you don't want my image? I mean, I go hog wild. I said happy birthday and the name of the person and their astrological sign, and if they're female, I got the female symbol, and I got the king's crown or the queen's. They don't deserve shit. You know what? This is it. No more. I only take care of and respect those that treat me that way, that reciprocate, and that's it.
I got a cool birthday wish from you, man. Definitely. Very cool.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't find that banner I made with the raven, the black raven.
That was freaking awesome, man. And let me tell you, one year Facebook didn't post my birthday and claimed it was my fault. They're so good to me.
It was your fault. Why? Was your date of birth in
It had been going along just fine. All of a sudden, one year they didn't fucking post it. And I didn't know that. Hey, I'm going to have to poke a hole in your mouth if you do that. You know that. Poke a hole in somebody's yawning. Poke them. Right in the mouth.
You know, I wish they do. No, I'm just, it's just that
you're as tired as
I have a lot of my, it's not you, I have a lot on my plate. That's why.
No, I figured you're just as tired as I am. That's all.
You are. No, I'm listening to every word you say.
I know you are, man. Don't worry about it. I'm just supposed to.
You know, I mean, well, we can go on and on about
every fucking thing in life, James.
Every damn thing in life about people.
The toilet seats aren't comfortable enough. You know, yeah, there's all kinds of aspects to gripe about, man. There's so much bullshit. The problem is a lot of it you don't have a voice for. You just have to take it. You know, there's a certain amount of shit we have to take for no good reason.
You know what it is? It's pettiness from people that I don't expect to be petty. That's what amazes me the most. It's like, you know, these are people that are that post very intelligent things on their own profile, of course. They never share it with the world. one of them is a career military female. Maybe she's just scared that the government might see her posts. Fuck them. Maybe she's just scared, you know. But
Can't live life being scared. I've done it. You know, when I was unemployed for 9 months, I was scared shitless. I tell you, you just can't do it. It's not healthy.
I mean,
not wise.
I respect people that tell it like it is, like Jesse Ventura, Jimmy Dore, you know, people that are not afraid to just tell you what they think, and then if you don't like it, you don't like it. Howard Stern was an outspoken guy. Ralph Nader. I mean, the list goes on and on. There are certain people that are just known to be outspoken, and I salute them and dedicate the show to them. And of course, to the Native Americans that we talked about that deserve to be on the money, on the monetary system, and not a bunch of pretentious, rich slave owners that own plantations. You know,
and to the slaves that still exist to this day in this world, man. There's slavery going on all over the fucking world.
I posted a great banner on Progressive Discussions where it shows it's like on top it says they send the drugs to the black neighborhoods, and then they arrest the people with the drugs, and blah blah blah, and they become the new slaves working, you know, in the privatized prisons for free. And it talk about the revolving door. You know, it's almost like they set people up.
They were bred for that shit.
They set the poor up to be slaves in privatized prisons.
There's a new song by Body Count called No Lives Matter. That's pretty good. It just talks about how, and basically the big 1%, no lives matter to them.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. The oligarchy. I mean, I had a fight with my co-host that I do the show on Saturday, because I mentioned the article about Ruth Bader Ginsburg talking about if, I don't know if she has any power, but to do so, but she's working on a project where if it's proven that Vladimir Putin, Russia, had a role
in the elections,
presidential election, that they could boot Donald Trump out, which but she didn't mention Bernie Sanders, and I told my partner he's a politically correct, he's farther to the left than I am. I says, what about Bernie Sanders getting screwed in the primary? So I got the impression that he cared about having the first fucking female president, you know, Hillary Clinton, than he cared about having somebody who is really going to make changes, you know, like sky's the limit, changes for the positive, Bernie Sanders. Hey, if you're going to investigate Russia and the Trump win, you should also spend the same amount of time investigating that Bernie Sanders got screwed, and there should be restitution for it.
Well, I think the reality is we're stuck with this insane shit for another 3.5 years.
It's a rigged system. But on that note, next week I'm supposed to go live with a gentleman that I know, that I met in person when I was on this Time Warner show called Keeping Country Strong. And he's a guitar player, and we're going to go live. I'm going to play my African drum, my conga drum, and he's going to play guitar. Maybe, you know, he can do some Carlos Santana.
Oh, that sounds great, man. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I got I'm going to be playing the drum, and guitars and the drums like that sound really good together.
By the way, I polished off my brewski.
I polished off mine a long time ago.
I did too, but I just wanted, you know, I did my part, okay? I held up my end, okay?
Well, this was a very, very mystical, invigorating,
chocolatey,
progressive discussions after dark.
Yeah, we forgot to tell. We're the pirates of the evening, right? Isn't that what we are?
We're the pirates of the evening.
Skullduggery we're into.
Skullduggery, yes. We're not ladies of the evening, but we're pirates of the evening. And too bad we don't have like a naked pirate, you know, with just a hoop.
Yeah.
A red bandana and nothing else, you know, big jugs.
Where are we gonna find her at again? Online?
Arr, arr.
You scary dog.
You ever notice? I noticed that, I don't know if you follow wrestling, but I noticed Bill Goldberg is starting to talk like Long John Silver.
Not the wrestling I follow. These guys are long dead. They were from Indiana. The Crusher, the Bruiser, Dick the Bruiser.
Oh, you're talking about the AWA, Vern Gagne.
Yes, the Baron von Raschke, Bobo Brazil, the world's greatest black wrestler.
Well, Jesse Ventura, he started with the AWA.
Oh, wow. And they superstar Billy Graham, the original one that died. They had
No, Superstar Billy Graham is alive.
That's not the same one. They took the name. The original one died years ago.
Well, he Vern Gagne, God rest his soul, you know, he killed a guy in a nursing home that was taunting him, was picking on him.
Oh God!
He put him in. He choked him out.
Ooh, and he really choked him to death, eh?
Well, he was saying, it's fake, you're phony, you know, he was taunting him.
Yes.
Vern Gagne just exploded, and then that's when they removed him. They kicked Vern out of the nursing home, and his daughter had to take care of him.
Go to prison for that?
He had Alzheimer's, the poor guy. His son is still alive, though. But I remember all the guys you mentioned. Ivan Putski was there. Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan was there, yes.
Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens. And then you had
Pepper Gomez with the cast iron stomach.
Well, you know, Vern Gagne was a tough trainer. Vern Gagne trained many of the big legendary stars that we have today. In his camp, there was Iron Sheik, there was Ric Flair. Jesse was Jesse was trained by somebody else in Minnesota, but he got picked up by AWA. But a lot of guys were trained by Vern Gagne, and he was really into. He was a real catch wrestling. You know, where he can twist you up into knots. You know, Billy Robinson. Oh, that's the British guy. Oh man, that guy was unbelievable. Billy Robinson he could take anybody and just make them submit in record time. A lot of greats. Scott Hall. Of course, Gene Okerlund was one of the original announcers for the AWA. Then Eric Bischoff came later on. He was an announcer for them. The list goes on and on. I mean,
it's been entertaining through the years. That's for damn sure.
The territories were the best for pro wrestling. The old school territories, and like Jesse Ventura says, during the old territories, you were responsible for creating your gimmick. You picked your gimmick. You worked on your promos. You had to do it, you see, and that was good because you didn't have writers telling you what to say and what not to say.
A lot of things have been stifled. A lot of creativism in this country has been stifled by corporate world. Yes.
Oh yeah, they tell you everything. And my friend who's trying to get a book published, he says, "My God," and it's a fantastic book. I know about it's based on a true story, and he's the guy that was in the WWE. He's trying to get this book published. Damn it, they want total control over his book. You know, I mean,
amazing how much great things have been suppressed
because of greed, right?
Yeah, it's insane, dude. Insane. You do something great, it's suppressed, it's stolen. It's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, man. Hey, when did we have that bad winter? That was 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
Remember the frozen Lake Michigan near Chicago? Remember how frozen?
Always freeze, dude. And then the global warming, it freezes every 10 years now.
But it was really I saw a photo. It was actually pretty to look at. They showed the frozen lake and then they showed the city in the background. And I don't know. I imagine certain parts of the Great Lakes are clean, still, and then others are not. But
Talking about this the other day, the Army Corps of Engineers came way back in the day and reversed the flow of the Chicago River to take it out, not go into Lake Michigan.
But wasn't it better when it went into Lake Michigan?
Well, they was their way of trying to keep the lake clean, so all the debris would go out.
You know what I heard? I heard that piece of shit Peter Brabeck of Nestle's, the one who weaseled his way into bottling California spring water during the drought. I heard he wants to control the Great Lakes. He wants to steal the water of the Great Lakes.
It's not going to happen over here, brother. There's no way.
He's a piece. You ever see his photo? He's a wicked looking piece of shit.
But I should speak though. All the great things have been stolen over here. We used to have no parking in Sundays downtown. Everyone would go downtown. They changed all that. All those red light cameras. There's all kinds of things that you never think are going to happen that happen now.
You can't park. You can't. Let's say on a weekend, there's no free parking in Chicago.
They sold it. They sold it. They privatized it. Those cocksuckers.
So you have to pay. You have to put your car in a garage.
Well, you had to pay on the street. There used to be no parking meters were running on Sundays. It was awesome. They basically don't want anyone to come to the city and spend any money, apparently.
Yeah, but you have an like similar to New York, you have a multi-ethnic city, and multi-ethnic cities bring more money to the city. I mean,
the diversified culture. People want to get out and experience it. And the mayor Daley, before he left, he sold the meters to these fucking assholes, and then the city was pretending to try to get out of it, and they just lengthened the lease to like 75 fucking years.
Really?
Yep.
It's a shame. It's one thing I despise is paying to park. I always despise that. And, it's like you can't even enjoy a weekend, especially if the weather's nice and you want to go to some nice barbecue restaurant or you want to take part in some good pizza or whatever by you. And, you got to worry about paying to park. Come on.
I paid $30 to park for an AC/DC concert at Wrigley Field last year, or a year and a half ago. It was insane, $30. Shit. You could get a couple of good dinners for $30 at the right restaurant. Hey,
$30 to park.
Hey, go to my page when you have a chance. There's some photos of that Arthur Brown concert in a video. You'll like it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure especially those that have the new smartphones, they take fantastic photographs and videos nowadays. They have high megapixel ability, and if your smartphone has at least 8 megapixels, you're going to have very high quality photos and video. And that's the beauty of it. You never know what you might see. I mean, I see things every day. I mean, real life things done by ignoramuses, by real numbskulls that I wish I had a phone that could take high quality video, because I would have a field day with my videos.
Well, the shit you could get catch people doing, it's amazing. People will do the most heinous shit right in public eye. Like the great businessmen do.
Now, there's a lot of things you can catch, and even cute things. Like I was at a park, and there were 2 mallard ducks, male and female. And the males have a beautiful, shiny jade green head. The wild mallard ducks, and the female was gently taking plantain chips out of my fingers, like turning her head and not grabbing my fingers, but just gently grabbing the chip and eating it, and then, you know, standing there, staring me down for another one. The male was standing behind her. You know, she wore the feathers in the family. Arr, Rebecca. She wore the feathers. She was the boss.
It's got a remate.
She was the boss in the family. But, you know, it's just amazing how she turned her head, gently removed the chip. And, you know, and then I told my brother-in-law, and he says, that's a duck. It'll make a good meal. You should have. No, it's only a duck. I says,
you know what? It's nature, though. Nature in the city, it's rare.
Yeah, but you could buy to have a wild creature do that is, to me, is amazing. And you know, it wasn't even domesticated duck; it was a wild duck, and there has to be intelligence. You know, whether people eat them or not. You have the bird. The parrot can't be the only smart bird. I mean, for a duck to do that and bond with humans and to have the courtesy to take the chip from my fingers the way it did, there has to be more going up there, you know. And I'm sure I heard like chickens bond with people and livestock and all that. I mean, pigs
I bonded with some lasagna earlier myself.
You mean it bonded with your inner stomach? You mean
with my innards? Yeah, it's
your innards. Well, you know what? The great thing about pork, even though it's one of the top 10 smartest animals,
it's delicious.
You could eat everything on a pig except the oink.
I think you can eat that in a hot dog, maybe the oink part.
I mean, I'll eat it all. I'll eat pickles, pig's feet, head cheese.
Oh, you're a braver man than I, brother. Head cheese is not. You have never had a Rocky Mountain oyster, have you?
Yeah, I did.
Holy shit! Did you put hot sauce on it?
Yeah, but the only problem with Rocky Mountain oysters is you got to soak them in salt overnight because they stink of piss.
Ooh, how wonderful!
No, they don't stink. I'm sorry, I take that back. Kidneys. When my grandmother used to make kidney stew, which I hated, that stinks of piss. But the Rocky Mountain oysters have this sweaty, musky, jism kind of smell.
Gee, how interesting! Nuts that smell like jism.
You gotta salt them down. You gotta salt those fucking balls down really heavy, and you gotta soak the balls. You gotta teabag the balls in some heavy brine.
Yeah, and then what do? Fry them or something? Or put some coating, like, you know, breading on them? How would you eat them?
Sometimes they barbecue them. Sometimes they saute them.
Oddly enough, I've never had any and probably never will.
You know what I saw on the Travel Channel? That Andrew Zimmer, what is it, Bizarre Foods? He was in Argentina, and, you know, cattle ranching is huge down there. You know, the cowboys are called the gauchos. So they were castrating the bulls, and they were making fresh barbecued testicles, because as soon as they castrate, as soon as they cut the balls, and, you know, believe it or not, there were women, that was their job, cutting the balls.
I gave them some ideas, eh?
Yeah, they were probably feminists. So anyway, they cut as soon as they castrate the bull's balls, it went right on the grill, because they said the fire cleans the balls of all the hairs.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were using actually, they don't want to clean it. They don't want the job.
Enough that to sound too homophobic. I don't want any balls in my mouth.
Well, hey, I had to go with it because you brought up Rocky Mountain.
No, but I'm helping, clarify the point.
But anyway, Mick Von Raven, I got to work out now, and
I got to pass out now, Jimmy.
And I'm going to make some frozen blueberry, raspberry, and mango sorbet.
That sounds delicious. I'm probably just going to vegetate after my long night last night. It was well worth it, though, man.
You need the rest. But anyway, it was great.
Let's reconvene when we both have more energy and more maybe caffeinated liveliness sometime soon.
Yes, and when we have some new material, you know.
Some new gripes when I get suspended again from Facebook just for logging on.
Yeah, well, this will, unless Poltergeist sabotages it, This will be on YouTube, and it'll also be on the International Brotherhood of Festivus and Krampus, and because it is the airing of grievances.
Yes.
Like
so many, we could be here all freaking night.
The feats of strength. No, first the airing of grievances, followed by the feats of strength. So we'll talk about next time. We'll talk about when we have more energy, all the heinous things that we would like to do to certain people on social media.
Oh, Mark Zuckerberg? Yeah, of course. I mean,
my favorite is the flesh-eating beetles that they use in taxidermy industry. What about death by pickling? That's a slow death.
His relatives can eat them.
You put them in a big vat, a big gigantic jar with pickle spices and vinegar. Pickled turtle. Mitch McConnell being pickled to death. Like
Well, pickled tonight and a different kind of juice, okay?
Pickled ugly turtle.
Oh. Good chatting you up.
All right, take care.
Take care, everybody. Bye.